talked about money. Let me ask about policy. How do you address the problem that space, where much of our military action is now exploring and doing, it's very congested. How are we working with other nations? Because we got to sort of divvy this up and figure out who's doing what.
Well, space is not only congested, but these days it's somewhat contested. So that is to say, it is quite possible that in a future conflict, a conflict on Earth could extend into space. Space, just by way of background, is critical for everything that we do in the military. It's what allows us to do precision navigation. It's what allows us to put a bomb very precisely on a target. It is hugely important. So it's a potential worry that an adversary could take out satellites in order to deny us the ability to do that precision navigation, as an example. So we have to get our heads around that, and just like every other part of the military, we have to prepare for the eventuality that a conflict could bleed into space.
Do you feel we're ready for that? Are we ahead of that? Because there are some nations that are rather rogue nations doing a lot of development in terms of weapons systems. Are we ahead of this, that we don't get get wiped out on something critical?
So we're ahead of it to the extent that we have all sorts of tools in our toolbox. Even if something happens in space, our response doesn't have to be in space. Our response could be any number of approaches. So in that regard, I want to assure everybody that we are in good shape, but our technological prowess, others are catching up with us, and it is a worrisome thing. And so as a leader and a decision maker in government, it's part of my job to call these things out, to make sure that we fund appropriately and that we put the appropriate attention on these matters.